All right, but I can't see myself. Okay, I don't need to see myself. Anyway, so as far as I can tell, as far as I can see, if it hadn't been for the private country clubs, tennis in the eastern United States would have vanished. And if it had vanished, I think it would have vanished, ended up vanishing all over the world. So, but I never had resentment against the private clubs for having, and people who expected to be guests at private clubs when they weren't members just because they played in a tennis tournament. I think, I mean, when I started playing tennis, I played in some private clubs, and I wasn't a member, and I was thrilled to be over there, and I could see it. But I didn't expect to get free meals and and treated as a member. I was glad to play on their courts. Anyway, so that just the idea that tennis was privileged, and there's been. I mean, take Washington, D.C. I never saw so many public courts around. Never saw so many public courts all around this area. But where is it got its chief support in country clubs? There's no reason to criticize a country club. Now, to go to the West Coast, you have a different phenomenon. I mean, Southern California. You might say Southern California was saved by the public courts. Probably was. And we got some of our great champions out of Southern California. Some came from country clubs, and the famous Pancho Gonzalez came right off the public courts. But what was the press about that? The press is that, whoa, Pancho was so picked upon. My God, imagine he had to pay tennis on public courts. Free balls, free lessons, free equipment, free lights, free everything, and he's a victim. So, I mean, I just don't understand how tennis got such a bad rap. And then along comes a woman like Billie Jean King. Now, I like Billie Jean King. I've seen her play up close and personal. She's a fabulous player. I admire her beating Bobby Riggs in that famous singles match. I do. And she was the best doubles player in the world, probably the second best singles player in the world. If she wasn't that, she was the third best singles player. And yet, now what's tennis and Billie Jean King? Well, I mean, Billie Jean King has got this huge name in the National Center, and what's it for? I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I do have an idea. I do know what it's for. She's for equal pay for women. Well, I never saw any more ludicrous thing than that. I mean, if it's based on who beats who, women couldn't earn a dime at it playing tennis. If it's based upon the draw, who draws the audiences, well, the men draw way more audience, and they proved it. What Billie Jean King did prove was that women did have an audience of own, and a very good audience of their own. In fact, most of the middle-aged men players who play good tennis loved women's tennis because they felt they understood it and could play with it. I mean, I was playing against #1 ranked national women 10 years younger than me. And so I understood women's tennis, but the idea that they got equal pay is ludicrous. And right to this day, Federer says they'd be lucky to get 70%. And that's the way I feel about it. But that's not the issue. The issue is you got Billie Jean King's name all over everything. Equal pay for unequal work. And then the other thing is Billie Jean King gets all this reputation for promoting women's tennis. The most influential women's tennis player in the world is Chris Evert. Chris Evert proved to women the world over you could be totally feminine and play all-out world caliber athletics. That's right. She was a good-looking woman with a phenomenal figure. She played all-out tennis and never lost her femininity. And that is what made tennis so popular. So I think the wrong woman is getting credit for women's tennis. And of course, you throw the homosexual thing in on top of Billie Jean King, and that's just a little too much for me. But as I say, I admire her. I've seen her play a lot, and she's a very good player. Chris Evers, better. Okay, I guess that's enough for now. As I say, I'll talk about my favorite tennis players later. And the next time I'll have a story about Leslie and tennis, which is really what this whole thing is about. So if you're ready, I'm ready to tell a Leslie and tennis story. Okay, this one is relatively recent. I don't know what relatively recent is, but it certainly isn't back when Leslie was in her youth. She was in her middle age. And I'd come out to California every spring and every fall to play in a tournament and to visit with the family. Of course, that's how we got the famous foursome going. Sven Lind, Leslie, Norbert Sandoval, and that's the foursome. And generally it was Leslie and I beating Sven Lind and Norbert. But we used to play a lot up there. Oh my God, what's the name of that college? There's a college. There's a name of a college. It's the name of a town. It's right up the road. By up the road, I mean a half hour up the road. And Claremont Country Club, and very good tennis club up there. And I had mixed results. Some of them was good. Leslie had, of course, almost always terrific results up there. And she's playing in the finals of their tournament. And in the finals of the tournament is the local high school champion. That's her opponent, an 18-year-old high school champion. And this woman was very unusual. She was a tall, slender, extremely good-looking American Indian. I mean, if there ever was a person who was an American Indian, I guess we call her today an Hispanic. But she had one big straight-haired ponytail that went down to her waist. She looked like an Indian. She was very pretty, and she could hit the hell out of the ball. She had all the modern strokes. She had topspin, crazy topspin, a two-handed backhand, hit the ball 100 miles an hour. And Sven and I go up with Les, and Les is playing in the finals against this woman. I thought to myself, this match will last a half hour. Leslie's gone. And the woman was so attractive that the guy who ran the total tournament, he ran the total. He wasn't going to run that particular match because he was running the total tournament. He was a friend of Leslie's, an admirer of Leslie's, but when he saw that girl, he was struck dead. And they went out to play the match, and the guy's so busy recruiting this girl for his college team, because in the winter he played. He was a college coach, and he was also, I thought, trying to get a date with her. And it was embarrassing. Finally, Leslie has to say to this guy, are we here to play a tennis match, or what are we here for? Because he was humiliating. So the guy says, oh, okay, here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. So he gets the match started, and it starts off just like I expected. Leslie is just, oh my God, this woman puts away every second serve Leslie hits. I mean, Leslie is scrapping around, trying to stay in the match with her slices and her backhand and her down the line shots. But this girl's just pummeling the hell out of Leslie. wins the first set 6-3. But slowly this match is turning. Slowly this match is turning. And in the Indians up break in the second, and then suddenly Leslie gets a break. And now it's even, and it's 5-all. And we're beginning to get what's in the wind. Leslie wins the second set 7-5. And the guy who had been doing all the talking, he quits watching. He quits running the match. He gets back the regular guy and he disappears. We never laid eyes on him again. And Leslie won the third set. The third set 6-2 or 3 or 6-1, crushed her. And I was never more proud of Leslie. She had figured out how to beat this girl. She was hitting those down the line backhands and keeping the ball low and skidding, and this girl could no longer handle it. And when Leslie learned how to prevent this woman from putting away most of her second serves, the match totally turned. So that's one of my most fun memories. All right, that's it for now. Next week, maybe 2 more stories.